Hello everyone, this is the Trawler broadcast. I want to thank all of our cast and crew across these old rocks. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. And a special thank you to Dave for keeping the boilers running, T for manning the wardrobe, and Kim for making sure that this old rock never runs out of money. And now, for today's broadcast. Hello, dear listeners. It's Trawler here again with another fantastic story of survival, horror, and instinct gleaned from my nets. I am your devoted old rocker, and here with me is Les'Tier Wetzel, the sole surviving member of the infamous Howl Cavern party of 91.
Hey there, Trawler. Listeners. It's an honor to be here.
Now, Lester, impossible as it may seem, there might be listeners not familiar with the harrowing ordeal you went through all those years ago.
That makes sense. So, do you want...
Yeah, where does it begin? Where's the start of this adventure gone horror?
Myself and 5 other people were contracted to explore a recently discovered cave system in Sector 4 by the family whose land it was on. It was me, Shock Oxley, Edward Alfreda, we call him Eddie, Abu Bakara of the other shore, Woni Spats, man, she kept us in line, and Fred Fuse.
And you'd worked together before, I understand. You were all tight-knit.
Yeah, very much so. We were like family. I met Abu Bakara of the other shore in Meva, and I was in my teens at the time. What a character. They were absolutely beautiful. They had this terrific sense of direction. Shock and Frade were both Ballastade, ex-bounty hunters. Woni was a terrific mind. Nothing daunted her. Not a cave-in, not a sheer drop-off, not water, nothing. Eddie could have made a stone laugh. The skinny kid from Bargain, who looked like they belonged in a library. With big round eyes, freckles. But I saw him wriggle his way through crevices like he was tucking into bed, completely at ease in what could be a dead end with not an inch of extra room to turn around.
You clearly missed them.
Oh, horribly. But, yeah, we were paid to go into this cave. The family's cattle were kind of wandering in, getting stuck. They wanted to see if there was another exit, or perhaps there was a drop or something that they could wall off just to keep their livestock safely out of it.
The cows were willingly going into the cave?
I mean, it's cooler in the cave. We were in Sector 4 in the dead of the dry season. I don't blame them. Caves are a steady temp all year round once you're inside.
Did you worry that something was predating on the cows?
Never crossed our minds. There was no sign of it.
But what about the howling that gives this cave system its name?
It didn't howl back then. It started our second trip inside, when we broke our way into the cathedral area. I think that we were the ones that woke the crawlers up. The first trip in was almost textbook perfect. We came back out for more supplies. That's when we noticed the noise. Woni thought it was just the air moving through.
Oh, listeners, that is one of the cats on this rock. I believe this one is Lobster Basket.
Cute. But, so we noticed the noise. Woni, like I said, thought that it was just air moving through this supposed second exit somewhere in the back after we had cleared the path.
I get it. Which is partially true, though. Howl Caverns does have that secondary exit. I know from experience that the wind that flows through is really quite strong. It makes quite the distressing sound when it's storming.
Yeah, but there's a difference. There's the noise the wind makes, and then there's the screaming that the crawlers make.
Now, your party are the only people ever to encounter these crawlers. A lot of authorities claim they don't even exist, as the only eyewitness left is yourself.
They exist. These so-called authorities also suspect me of killing my team when I made it out. Can you imagine accusing someone of that? Killing my best friends? Doing this to myself? When a PAG team went in, they said they didn't find any evidence of anything bigger than bats living in there. And they are dead wrong.
What are the characteristics that you remember?
I remember everything like it was yesterday.
I know, Lobster Basket's quite a scary story.
I remember it like it was instant. They were quadrupedal, fast, gray skin with growths along their backs, like some sick kind of earthen primals, and they screamed Trawler. It just about shattered my ears, it was so loud. In the open part of the cave that we were in, it just echoed and bounced back and multiplied. We all hit the ground, and it hurt like someone was driving a stake into my eardrum. Abu managed to get a few shots off before they had to cover their ears too. And I couldn't tell you if they hit him or if it just added to the noise.
And the crawlers attacked unprovoked?
I mean, as far as I remember, but we just invaded their territory, you know? Maybe we were just an easy meal.
Meal?
Yeah, meal. I saw one latch onto Eddie's arm. Not that there's a lot of flesh to grab there. He's a small kid, but it swallowed, and when it bit off, the fight was so short, it all happened so fast. We tried to retreat, and none of us were very good at offense, you know? We're scrappers. Wasteland skills for survival. We had pickaxes and rope. I mean, we had guns, but that was more for scaring off bandits than, you know, fighting anything. Especially fighting for our lives against monsters or whatever these crawlers are.
I've heard you call these crawlers monsters a few times now.
Well, they are. They're not like normal, primal, a normal animal. They just attacked, consumed. They took our whole group down in an instant. But they were smart. There was intelligence there, and you can tell. They weren't just screaming to scream. It was coordinated. You know, like pack hunting. No eyes, but one looked right at me. Its face was mostly just this horrible mouth and teeth. Char between the trees, its teeth. So sharp it almost didn't hurt until it started ripping my leg apart.
That sounds horrifying. Did you have any lasting issues upon coming back from the apothecary?
Just the nightmares. But I managed to get away from the pack of them. I actually just bled out, and when I came back, it was clear everyone else had
consumed.
Yeah. That's that's why I think I'm the only one who didn't final. Only got a few bites in my leg before I shoved my emergency flare down his throat. But yeah, I have nightmares, and I guess the scar.
Talabra above, whoa.
The apothecary told me they did the best they could, but yeah, it makes wearing shorts kind of a spectacle.
Now listeners, what I'm seeing here can only be described as healed over bites. Not healed whole, but if the skin simply closed over the bites, like a half-eaten apple dunked in a candy shell. The scarring is incredible. Les'Tier, does that still hurt?
Not particularly, not anymore. It's almost like a phantom limb syndrome kind of thing. I've noticed mosquitoes land there in the empty, or try to land there, I guess. I've talked to a few healers, doctors, a tender or two. They think it's a curse, or similar. I mean, everyone's always shocked. Wouldn't you be if you saw this? But it works well enough, I guess. Unless I get too cold, then it sorta sets the chill deep into my bones.
Listeners will know from previous episodes that while scarring isn't all that uncommon from healing, especially, first aid, medical-based healing, significant scarring or deformities upon return from the apothecary is likely attributed to curses, denizen abilities or predation, higher-end abilities, or truly psychologically significant effects.
Trauma.
Trauma, indeed. It is amazing you were able to get away from the crawlers. Genuinely amazing will to live, Les'Tier.
It was luck, I'll call it what it is, and of course I was desperate, fighting for my life. I wanted to live, just like everyone else, but there are 6 of us, and 5 crawlers. The one I jammed my flare into just went after another of my team. I was just too much of a hassle, I think. and there were other options. And it eats me up inside that I ran. If I'd have known that they wouldn't even make it to the apothecary, I feel guilty every day.
Survivor's guilt?
Yeah. I didn't try enough to help them. Anyone who's even sideways to an adventure knows what a party wipe feels like. What a losing fight feels like, and we were losing. I thought I might get back to them after I came back from the apothecary and heal them, and I could give them last rites. We all had this little
Sinochian kits you showed me earlier.
Yeah. It was last rites, bandages, some potions and antidotes, wraith orb. Your basic, we're going somewhere old, unknown, dangerous kind of kit.
And the last rites didn't have any effect?
There wasn't anything left but blood in their gear. Can you imagine? There was nothing left. Even the leather on their packs and boots were gnawed to bits. I gathered together what I could and hauled ass out of that cave. I went straight to the apothecary, where I woke up. I waited for 3 days in the rain before someone...
Take your time. Take your time.
It's a lot. I don't often talk about it.
I can understand why. Thank you for sharing your story here with my listeners, with me.
Thank you. But like I said, I waited 3 days in the rain. I didn't know if the creatures were gonna come back out, get me, Mm-hmm. And I was waiting there, and someone that had hired me eventually came out and found me sitting there, and I don't really remember much from those couple days. The fear. I was just so deep in my grief and guilt, and you don't really know how badly hope can hurt when you get confronted with reality like that.
Hope is a sharp-edged thing, especially when it goes away.
I go back there every year,
To the cave?
Yeah. To the cave, all the way in to the cathedral room where it happened. You can still see some of the spots they were laying. No such thing as weathering in a cave, really. No running water. Very little air movement to speak of. Just some critters. And that much blood was a lot to ask of isopods and beetles. I go back to see if I can find the crawlers. See if I can kill one. Get something of it as proof. Maybe a claw, tooth, something. I tried photographing them, at least. I set up cameras on a tripwire in there for a while. The cameras would be full of pictures, but nothing of interest. And the first few, here or there. And then something always destroyed the flash attachments. That's weird. And the rest of the pictures would just come out black after that. And I gave up on it because I realized I was just wasting my time.
Do you think it was the crawlers that were destroying the flashes?
I don't know. Either them or something else with enough intelligence to take it apart while not being photographed.
Why do you think nobody else has ever seen them?
I think we hit them back hard in a way that they weren't expecting that we could. And I think that maybe because we fought so hard, it drove them deeper into the cave system when they were finished. I think as we were working, we woke them up or somehow triggered them in the cathedral. I think we were their first meal. And I don't know if they escaped the cave. I doubt it. They looked as perfect a creature to live in a cave as any. Like I said before, no eyes. I don't think the regular world outside would be suited for them for that, but perhaps they're dormant again. I just don't know.
Do you think you'll find them again?
I hope I'm the one that does.
What do you mean by that?
I hope that I'm the one that finds them, not some poor old fool who makes the same stupid mistake that we did, just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Not some unprepared person who awakens that kind of hunger without any heads up. And if I'm honest, I hope it's me because I want that closure.
I hope you get that closure too, Les'Tier. Anyone who's met you has seen the evidence of your harrowing ordeal can't possibly deny that something truly horrifying befell your party. To those of you that are claiming that you, Les'Tier, betrayed your friends, I rebuke them. I ask them what you'd have to gain from this, just to what end you'd keep this narrative up after all these years. And to the memories of Shock Oxley, Edouard, Eddie, Alfreda, Abu Bakari of the Other Shore, Woni Spats, and Frayed Fuse, may Talabra light your way to the apothecary.
May Char guide you through the wilds, my friends.
Les'Tier, thank you so much for being on the show today. Listeners, the world is large. I will continue to check my nets for more stories of the weird, dangerous, and unbelievable to bring you the best show that I can. Until then, be safe, be observant, and die loud.